everyone. We got to cover RaveDAO. This project, I told you guys yesterday that this thing was about to dump. I literally told you guys as it was peaking out all the way up here. We're going to talk about this. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice. But look at this. I told you guys it was a pump and dump. I told you all the signals about it being a pump and dump. I did the same exact thing with Siren right before Siren dumped. And now, as you can see, we're doing the same thing today. Well, I did it yesterday. I told you guys 18 hours ago, as RaveDAO was at $21.72, that RaveDAO is about to dump hard. And that's exactly what happened. I mentioned it was a trap. You can see with the thumbnail there. And yeah, this was a 100% trap, right? This was a bull trap, and a bunch of people got trapped inside of this. And look, we had a very, very clear rising wedge right here. As you can see with this rising wedge, I knew it was about to dump soon. And I even mentioned in the video, there's a possibility that it can break to the upside with the rising wedge as a bull trap. They're going to trap the bulls. So I was like, there's a possibility it could break out even a little bit, but it's going to get rejected. So that's exactly what it did. It did exactly what I said it was going to do. It ended up breaking out, almost got up to that Fibonacci up there, that Fibonacci resistance at 32 cents, or at $32. So I was like, it's either going to get there or it's going to stop right before there. And that's exactly what happened. Stopped right before $32. And yeah, it ended up dumping. It got all the way up to $28, right? So that's what we're seeing here with RaveDAO. And look, I was showing you guys the %R trend exhaustion. I was showing how it was overbought right there. You can see that area right there where my mouse is. It was overbought. I was saying how it was about to have a huge pullback right around that area. We'll talk about what I think is going to happen now with the project. And they're even issuing their own statements, right? But at first, I want to give you guys the pointers so you guys know what's about to happen here, because there are a lot of whales inside of this project that have not dumped yet. There's a lot of whales with a lot of coins that haven't had the opportunity to dump. Look, this is the top wallet. It owns 44% of the supply. The top wallet has not had the opportunity to dump all the coins, right? It's still 99.84% is still owned by the top 100 holders in the coin. And if you look over here, a lot of these wallets, they haven't dumped yet. So these are the top 12 wallets here, top 10, 12 wallets. They have not dumped. As you can see, wallet after wallet, these wallets haven't dumped yet. Some of them have just bought in. Some of them are waiting to dump, right? It's not going to happen immediately for all of the wallets. So eventually they're going to start dumping as well. So what we actually might end up seeing here with RaveDAO, and you can see this one bought 100 days ago, what we might see is another push to the upside, another major pump, followed by another major dump, right? That's the same exact thing that we've seen here with Siren. We've seen it pump massively. I'll zoom in here. So we've seen it pump massively, then we've seen it dump. Then we've seen it pump massively again, and then we've seen it dump. Then again, another large pump, and then yet again, another dump. And then eventually it did the same thing, and it pumps all over again. Right here, pumped all the way back up, and then it dumps again. So when you look at the price for RaveDAO, you can kind of see it did one big pump here, all the way up to $19, and then it dumps down to $10. And then it went all the way back up to 27. Now it's dumped again. So there's a possibility there might be one or two pumps left inside of this project. A possibility. It doesn't mean that it will happen that way, but it just means that there's a possibility that it could actually do another pump and dump, right? So right now this thing's trading at $4.21. It's right below that Fibonacci level down there. Like I said before, if you watched my video from yesterday, I was talking about how $1 it could be the level that it stops at before it ends up going back up, right? And I was showing some tweets where some other people were like, hey, this thing might come all the way down to $1. And not only that, I was also showing the divergence chart, right? So we had a rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern, followed by bearish divergence, which is higher highs on the MAC, or higher highs on the chart, while simultaneously getting lower highs on the MACD. So when you look at this, we were creating higher highs on the chart here, obviously. And then on the MACD, we were also creating lower highs. Boom, boom. So this was bearish divergence on the MACD. So that is another reason why we see a massive dump. We are building it up, and it finally dumped, right? And like I said before, I mentioned $1 would be that support range that you're looking for. I gave multiple support ranges, but I was showing the discount price here on the percent R training exhaustion is close to $1. And also, not the percent R training exhaustion, but on the Chart Prime automated trading indicators, link in the description if you want to check out Chart Prime. But the reason why I'm talking about Chart Prime is because if you turn this on, you can see the volume profile. It's going to show a lot more volume at those dollar levels down there. A lot of selling volume, but a lot of buying volume as well. So, and that's also where the discounted price zone is. And we're actually almost there. So check out link in the description for Chart Prime. We're almost at that discounted range. So if you start to see this trading around $1, then you know you got a good price. And when I say $1, I mean like all the way down, like a dollar, like not like $1.90. I mean like $1, right? $1.90 is where it starts, right? Where the buying and some selling is going to start as well. But I would say more around the smaller dollar amounts, right? $1.20, $1.10, $1.05, right? Right now it's at $4.17 on the percent R trend exhaustion. It hasn't yet went down to the oversold area. It will probably end up being oversold around $1. That's another reason why I mentioned $1. We're probably gonna hit that oversold region around there. So yeah, you definitely want to watch out for that. And we also got the sell signal on the Chart Prime indicators up here. You can see that's the premium price point. And then that sell signal, though, came all the way down at this candlestick. So when it came down to $19, it finally gave that sell signal. So it's a little bit laggy with the sell signals, but that was still a good signal if you gotten way back here. So yeah, we seen this thing dump, and it wasn't a pretty sight. It wasn't a pretty sight. But like I said, $1 is probably going to be that next level that you guys are gonna want to try to scoop this up at, right? If you believe that it's going to end up breaking out again in the future, if you believe that, because it doesn't mean it's just gonna end up breaking out again. Like some of these pump and dumps, they don't do multiple pump and dumps. Sometimes they only pump and dump once, right? But for Siren pumped and dumped multiple times. KoAI, a lot of these different BNB projects do this. KoAI pumped and dumped multiple times, almost a year ago actually. They pumped and dumped multiple times. Siren, we had MYX Finance. MYX Finance pumped and dumped like twice. So you gotta be careful with these Binance coins. Actually, no, it pumped and dumped about 3 times, 4 actually. So yeah, you gotta be careful with these Binance coins. These Binance coins are constantly getting caught up in these scams, and we actually seen RaveDAO make their own statement here. So we're gonna go over that now as well. And before we move on here, again, shameless plug, check out the link in the description for Chart Prime, best automated trading indicators out there. You can use the discount code PRIME20 for 20% off, and you can get a huge yearly discount. So save 40% with the yearly plan. On top of that, 20% off with the PRIME20 code. So you can literally get 60% off of these indicators. So you can check it out, and it gives some good signals. And also, if you want to trade with up to 500x leverage, check out the link in the description for Avantisfy. I always use Avantisfy. It's actually a very good platform. So go ahead and check that out as well. And you can become a member of the channel, only $9.99. And you can have me cover any project. Like if you wanted me to cover RaveDAO, someone inside the last live stream was like, hey, cover RaveDAO. Well, he was a member, so I went ahead and made a whole video for him. So shout out to all the members of the channel. And it's only $9.99 per month. Just come over here, click join, and you can do it that. So anyways, they released a statement. RaveDAO released a statement talking about how they're not scammers and how it's just rumors. But we see what has happened. All right. It says, 1, we are aware of the rumors and accusations circulating regarding Rave and RaveDAO team. We want to be clear, RaveDAO team is not engaged nor responsible for recent price action. We take transparency seriously and remain humbled by the attention, but our focus is on the mission, bringing mass adoption to Web3 through live events. So this is their statement, and like what I gotta say is sometimes it's not the developers of the project, but sometimes it's the people that got in at the beginning. So maybe it's not the developers, but maybe they also have insiders who got in really early. They're like, hey, get in on our project, and they like invested early. Or maybe there's just people that just bought in early, right? It could be insiders, or it could just be people that bought in early. But one thing is going to remain constant. It's a pump and dump, right? Even if the developers didn't pump and dump it themselves, it was pumped and dumped. So, you, either way, it happened, right? And then they say we operate with a long-term horizon to bridge Web3 and the world with music and love. To further ensure community alignment, we are exploring appropriate models, including price triggered or performance triggered locks that tie team incentives to ecosystem growth. Well, it's kind of too late for that now. And then they say we do plan to liquidate portions. Listen to what this says, right? They're telling you what they're doing. We do plan to liquidate portions of unlocked tokens based on TRS, see below, when appropriate to fund operations, global hiring, marketing, strategic acquisition, and philanthropic, I know I'm not saying that right. Building a movement requires resources. So this is what all projects say, right? Even the pump and dumps, they're like, look, and Baby Doge said this all the time. Look, it costs money to develop this stuff, and it really does cost money. But when they're saying they're going to unlock tokens, look at all the tokens that are locked. So total supply is a 1 billion. The circulating supply is 248 million. So that means over 800 and over 750,000 coins or 750 million coins need to be unlocked. You can see here vesting 751. These coins are pretty much locked away. And this is the top wallet, right? Top wallet on Ethereum owns 76% of the coins. You hear what I'm saying? Top wallet on Ethereum holds 76% of their coins. 3.1 billion inside of a value. 3.1 billion dollars. And they're talking about how they're going to unlock some money. Fully diluted value, 4.5 billion. And they're talking about, hey, we're going to unlock some of this money. Yeah. And then what happens when they unlock it and they sell it? It dumps, right? And this is exactly how this stuff works. And then it says the crypto world needs more positive externalities, not just industry infighting as the world faces. All right, this is just a bunch of BS pretty much. And then here 5, for the builders out there, the weight of this path in an industry often fixated on short-term charts. So look, they're trying to ensure the community so people don't sell, so then they can sell. That's pretty much, they're telling you exactly what they're doing. We do plan to liquidate what we're holding, right? We do plan to liquidate our unlocked tokens. Ignore everything else in this paragraph and only focus on that one thing. We do plan to liquidate portions of our unlocked tokens. They don't say if they're small portions or large portions, but what you do know is that they hold almost all of the supply. So what do you think happens when they unlock it? Well, the price will dump because they will sell when they unlock it. And they told you they're going to sell because it costs money for funding operations, global hiring, marketing, strategic acquisitions, right? It costs money. They said it themselves. So when they sell and they liquidate and they sell, the price is going to drop. And what are they trying to do immediately after that in the 4th paragraph here? The crypto world needs more positive externalities, not just industry infighting. They're like, you guys got to stand strong together. For the builders out there, you know the weight of this path. Don't sell our coin. Keep your money in there so when we liquidate, we can take your money. That's pretty much what they're telling you. All right. And then rumors stop at the whys. We are not here for the noise. We are here to build the culture. Look, when it comes to rumors, it's not a rumor. They're telling you what they're doing. They're trying to liquidate. They're trying to liquidate their money so then they can use it to build their project. Now, it takes money to build projects, but it also takes money to live. These people are probably gonna, they're gonna be paying their rent with this money. They're gonna be paying for cars, paying for vacations. Like, it takes money to live as well. And if they're building and developing a project, this is their job. So obviously, some of that money is going to be spent personally. Not all of that money is about to be spent on the project. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. It's billions of dollars. Some of that money is going to be spent personally. Some of that money is going to be spent on the project. But I can tell you what, they're not just gonna ignore the money and be like, oh, we don't want any of it for personal gain. They'd be literally stupid if they didn't use anything for personal gain, right? That's billions of dollars. They're gonna use some of the money for personal gain, and they've probably already done it. So I would just say, prepare for this thing to dump some more, and prepare for a possible recovery too. I think around $1, or not dollars, but $1, I think it'll recover. But There's a possibility that it recovers before then. And I did mention on my previous video that $7, this Fibonacci here at 7, this Fibonacci here at 5, and the end of the Fibonacci at $1 at the discount price for chart prime. Those were my 3 levels, my 3 targets. These ones out the gate. Next one is pretty much going to be $1, right? So if the next one's $1, there's a possibility it could either recover here and then dump and then recover at $1, or it just goes all the way down to $1 and then recovers from there. And that doesn't look right. That looks like the swastika right there that I just drew. But yeah, that's what I think is about to happen here with this. And then we have people like Zach XBT. He exposes crypto scams out there, and he's talking about what's happening here, and he kind of breaks it down. It says, he pretty much says pump and dump activity for RAVE originated on BitGet, Binance, and Gate.io. Call to action for both. This person, Hey Binance, was just the co-founder and chief customer service officer of Binance. And then you got Gracie BitGet, which is like a TV host or someone that works for BitGet. And they're telling them to do better and launch internal investigations, offboarding the responsible actors, offering up to $10,000 bounty of my personal funds for whistleblowers to come forward privately to share evidence about parties involved. We cannot allow this blatant market manipulation by insiders controlling over 90% of RAVE support to further extract the retail investors. So yeah, they are extracting money from retail investors. They even admitted it. They're like, look, we're trying to liquidate here, guys. Like, stop selling. They're like, guys, we gotta stand strong so we can liquidate this and dump on y'all. Like they literally said that, right? So now this is this guy talking to the co-founder of Binance directly and of BitGet, and this BitGet person is actually responding to them, right? The CEO at BitGet has literally responded to this person, right? And she says, thanks for highlighting. We started investigating into RAVE. So they're actually, BitGet is now actually investigating into RAVE themselves. And then Zach says, good to hear. If you can please report back BitGet's findings, so the transparency would be much appreciated. So I think it's good that the actual founder of BitGet is responding. Was to say that they're not actually in cahoots, right? We don't know if they're in cahoots. And then Richard Tang over here, the co-CEO of Binance, is now also responding as well. He said, thanks for flagging this with us. We're looking into it. We will always do our part to investigate all market misconduct. So this guy has some weight. Like, I think you guys should check out the Zach XBT guy. Like, he exposes a lot of crypto scams, and then the actual like CEOs of the largest exchanges are actually responding to him because they know like he could get a bunch of people to stop using their platform if he's like, look, they're scamming too. But yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. Let me know what you guys think about this. Hit the like button, subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, none of it's financial advice. I think this could come down to $1. So prepare for that. If you want to trade up to 500x leverage on DeFi futures perps trading, check out the link in the description for Advances 5. You can do a lot of leverage here, up to 75x on Bitcoin. You can trade oil. You can trade stocks. You can trade the S&P 500, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, all of the largest stocks you can trade. You can trade oil. You can trade, crypto, altcoins, all that good stuff. And check out Chart Prime, best automated trading indicators in the game. Remember, you can get huge discounts right now, 20% off with a Prime 20 discount code. And you can get 40% off if you get the yearly plan. So definitely check that out. It gives very good signals, especially if you're not that well versed inside technical analysis. It pretty much does it for you, right? I did my own manual technical analysis on this, and that's why if you take off the indicators, you can see I kind of already had everything figured out here. But this gives you a better look at it if you're not that well versed into technical analysis. You can literally just use the indicators, and this is what the indicators only. Like, this is what the indicators are showing us. It's showing us we got rejected at that premium price point. We got that sell signal. And then as you can see here, we have the volume profile showing that this is where the buying volume is going to start back up. So like I said, anywhere from like $2 down to $1, I'd say $1, you're going to see buying starting up. It might go below $1 too. We got the actual discount price point goes all the way down from here all the way up, right? The discounted price point goes from about 12 cents up to 30 cents. And then the volume profile goes from about 20 cents all the way up to $2.10. So it's a pretty wide range, but it's probably going to be good to get in towards the bottom of the range, right? So it might stop anywhere in this area and then recover from there. So if you guys got burned, I highly doubt that it'll recover it to extremely high levels like $32. But I think there is a possibility of some recovery. So you just got to be smart. If you're trying to make your money back in this thing, maybe get in back around a dollar or less, and then get out at like $10, maybe 12. I don't know how high it's gonna go after that, but I'll make another video on that once it starts to formulate, and once I start to see more evidence of some money flowing back in. So, anyways, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Become a member of the channel, and as always, I'll be back with another video.